Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be playing through Nordis Descended Mythical Plus with my Awoken Liu Bei team. Now, using Awoken Liu Bei to farm Nordis and any other rogue descendant is not necessarily anything new nor revolutionary, but it is essentially one of the fastest ways to actually acquire monster points, collateral plus eggs, monster experience, and a hefty amount of rank experience. So I'm just going to be showcasing why it's important, and it's mostly done in order to basically play through a dungeon many times with as little brain power as possible. Because once you've devised an appropriate team, you can simply cruise through the dungeon. You can easily, say, read something alongside of it. You can browse 9gag, whatever the young and hip to the hop kids do nowadays. You could probably multitask, and that's what the main benefit is. So I'm going to be playing 2 runs with an Awoken Liu Bei team. Once a little slower to kind of narrate and talk my way through it, and then one time hopefully a little faster if possible to showcase just how fast this can be done. And then my 3rd run, I'll be using a Machine Hera team that I used from before to show you how much more cognitive brain power you actually require when playing through a dungeon without a button team. Now, there are many variations on the team I'm using, and you basically have to find the one that works best for you. For myself, I need to find a way to use only 3 actives on the first 4 floors, with one of them being Australis. And once that's achieved, I'm actually able to sweep the rest of the dungeon with minimal effort. So because I actually have 6 wood orbs, I'm actually going to simply use one combo. I'm going to match my wood row, and that will be sufficient for sweeping this floor here. And in addition to that, the Dragon Killer Awakenings actually come in a little handy here because they are all dragons. Now, speaking of Dragon Killers, both Parvati and Australis actually have a Dragon Killer, but the Dragon Killer is important for sweeping Nordis if you have, say, a board of fewer enhanced wood orbs and only 1 combo. So that way you don't actually have to use an enhance active, and it saves you a little bit of headache. And now it's the wrong player's turn. So this is where I pop Australis, and because I pop Australis here, it means I will actually have the wood skyfalls occurring on the 5th floor. And the 5th floor has a 50% chance to spawn someone who makes a combo shield. However, if you actually have a buff of some sort, so the Skyfall buff, he will actually dispel it instead of actually putting up the combo shield, which means I can just simply use Zeus Dioses now for the rest of the dungeon outside of the Raw to kill the pre-draws. So there was the preemptive status void instead of combo shield. Now it's just simply a matter of pressing Dioses and going nuts. So the dungeon starts off a little slow with a little bit of conscious matching, and then it becomes an easy exercise of simply pressing Dios and swiping. So again, I'm going to be using my next Dios, and I try and lay out my teams in such a way that I use their active skills from left to right. Or you could do right to left, whatever's easiest for you. And the point of the matter is, just so you have to think a little less, because when you are playing a dungeon many times in a row, you want to think as little as possible. Like, you don't really want to spend that many brain cells going through a dungeon, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 times just to get the drops you're looking for. So I've gained a couple of plus eggs. I've gained a Super King. I'm going to gain a pre-draw here, and hopefully I'll get a plus egg from the next floor. Hopefully 3D does drop. If it does, I'll get 4 plus eggs in the end. And the reason why I'm using true damage for my team is that way it preserves the actives and the way they line up for the end. That way I don't actually have to use a pass turn, so it saves, again, a little bit of effort, a little bit of button pressing, and it just makes my life a little easier. So massive wood bloblet Skyfall. I have 4 wood orbs present, so I will gain some enhanced damage, which is nice. And both sides actually have a Dragon Killer. You can use technically the Latent Tamadra spawns from Arena 3 if you are fortunate enough to acquire Dragon Killers on your Zeus Dioses, because Zeus Dios, while being balanced, is able to actually use any Latent Awakening they want. So right there, I only had 1 combo, but I still killed Nordis because of that Dragon Killer, the extra subtyping from the Astaroth, as well as the 2 additional rows. So it's a way for me to use 1 less active and still kill Nordis. So if you can see from here, I get 52,000 or so rank experience and a nice hefty amount of drops. So what I do is I sell off the pre-drop, I sell off the little dinky thing because it doesn't give any experience, and just leave it at that. You can sell off the Moltra if you want, it's up to you, but I think it gives about 18,000 monster experience, so it's not terrible. And now I'm going to go through it again, and hopefully I will play it a little quicker and just see how long this takes. So I'm at 5:35. So let's just see how fast I'm actually able to go through it. So 5:35 is when I started, and combos are not my friend here. It's kind of like a ranking dungeon almost. So because floor 2 did not actually have enough wood orbs, I popped Liu Bei. I'm going to be relying on Australis to use my orbs intelligently. So here is Liu Bei. Got the nice wood cross. I'm going to get a ton of wood orbs now from Australis is active. At least at the bottom there's going to be a hefty amount. But they're all reasonably separated. And that's kind of my goal here. So popping Australis. My wood orbs are happily separated. So now I just simply connect the wood orbs at the bottom. And I'll sweep the floor. Try to make as little combos as possible, because in theory each combo does slow you down. So here is either the status wood or the leader bind. Leader binds don't hurt me either, so I'm happy. So again, Dios, pray for as little skyfalls as possible. And again, I'm only going to do 1 Liu Bei run. Obviously, if I do a larger sample size, I can get a better idea of how long it actually takes, but it shouldn't be too much variance outside of really just unwanted skyfalls. So again, Dios, swipe. And again, another Dios coming up. Nice, no skyfalls, a little bit faster. So pre-draw, get killed by Ra, and then Zeus Dios for the next floor of 3Dia. So I'm going to get 5+ eggs in the end, so pretty happy. It's a pretty good run overall. Alright, 1 additional combo I should say. Again, it's good for speed, good for time. And I could easily do this while, say, watching a TV show, or you could watch a TV show, you could talk to someone. This does not actually require much brain power what I'm doing. Like I said, once you've set up the team correctly, it's a breeze. So I have more than enough damage to kill the final floor. And one thing I actually want to show you afterwards is how you can use Ras to gain bonus stats. I forgot to show that on one of my Zeus Dioses. Nice, I got a combo. So I start at 5:35, it's 8:22-ish, so it's under 2 minutes a run. I'm pretty happy with under 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes, I get 4 or 5+ eggs or so, get a nice hefty amount of coins for skill inherits, and I also gain tasty drops. I got a Super King, I also got pre-draw. Oh, one interesting thing, if you swipe, you can actually unselect or deselect the monsters. You can even go diagonally, so I can start the pre-draw and go up, and back, up, back. I can do diagonals. So you can basically practice your diagonals here if you really want to, as weird as that sounds. So like I said, under 2 minutes to clear the dungeon. So if you're trying to go really fast, you could spend 10 minutes and get 5 clears in well, you could probably spend 11 minutes because there's time in between, a bit of animation time in between. But you could spend, say, maybe 11 minutes, 12 minutes and clear 5 runs. That's a lot of games you can squeeze in. If you had a whole hour to dedicate to this, you can easily accomplish a lot. So what I'm going to do is play the Machine Hera run, and just to showcase how much slower it is. I actually need to have Mantastic create the room, but before I do, I just want to show you how I use Ras that's inherited onto my Zeus Dios. And you see it does transfer a small amount of stats, but it's free stats nevertheless. So it's a good way to add an additional bit of damage, a little bit of health onto a card that's already fully maxed out. And because Zeus Dios is 16 turns and Ras is 21, 37 turns is never going to occur. under these circumstances, so it's a very safe inherit. And in theory, I wouldn't actually need my skill delay resists I had. In theory, but I have them. I'm keeping them, of course. So I'm going to actually have Mantastic create the room. And Mantastic actually just ranked up, which is kind of nice. Put up my Machine Hera team, and let's see how fast Machine Hera can go through this dungeon, if it's even... I know it's going to be slower. Let's see how much slower, as well as how much conscious combos I actually had to make. So where's Machine Hera team? There's Machine Hera team. Okay. So, similar idea. I'm using Zuos for the Dragon Killer to make my life a little easier, as well as having Ashimali's, Persephone's for massive board changers, and I have to rely on at least having some Dark Orbs, so I do have to make some conscious combos. Lilith is my poison, and that's used to actually kill the pre-draws. So there's no inherits, the team is nothing special, and you can definitely put together some other team. I'm just showing you variations of what you can do. So I forgot to check what time it was. I'm going to say I started at 11. I'll give myself generosity. I said I started at like 11-minute mark or so. So let's see how long this actually takes. So I still have to make some combos, but luckily I'm getting Dark Orbs back. It's like playing a ranking dungeon, I feel like, at this point with a team like this. So in most cases, a single TPA does kill the floor. So I'm already slow. Well, not necessarily slower. The first few floors I actually had to combo anyways. But I haven't used an active skill, so I guess that does improve the speed a little bit. Don't need a TPA here, it's alright. Maybe I should have used less orbs. Again, if I did a lot of runs, I'll get a better sample size, but you can see like the team is going to be a little slower moving forward just because I will either have to overcome combo shields like I do here, so I have to think a little bit more. So I only make just enough combos to overcome it. You can obviously make more out of the board, but again, I don't want to spend too much effort, because if I were to say play this many times in a row, it's going to become draining mentally, at least. I'm just going to pop Ashimali to make sure I have a nice enough board. Have a board for the next floor. This floor is kind of tanky, even though I guess with Zuo it does do enough damage, though. So on the Super Kings, I need to have a TPA to kill it. I guess I can make 2 TPAs. So there is enough TPA. Like Persephone does provide enough TPA to pierce through. Most other cards would. I did match 2 TPAs. And here's where I do Lilith, and Lilith allows me to kill the floor. If I did have, say, an inappropriate number of wood and hard orbs, I get rid of some of them. And then the wood and hard orbs become dark orbs when I use Ashimali's active on the next floor to have enough orbs to kill 3 of you. I could probably min-max this team a little bit better, but for now this works. Oops. So 1 row should be sufficient. Again, the Dragon Killer does put in a lot of damage. So Nordis, while being a light monster, is significantly easier to deal with. And I'm going to be using the Zuo Pandora board changer because it's the easiest to do. I'm not even going to look at the optimal board. I'm just going to match. So again, it's more than enough damage. Dragon Killer is putting in a lot of work. I'm already at 3 minutes and 15 seconds, so it's probably going to take like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So almost double the clear time required. Yes, I did have a lot of Skyfalls, but that's in part because I was making lots of combos. So my dark cards get bound, not that big a deal because my leaders are bind immune. So if you do use a dark team, you can easily just use a bind immune leader, and you don't have to worry about the dark preemptive. Sorry, the dark bind preemptive. So, like I said, this took about 4 minutes approximately to do. So it's about double the clear time with Machine Hera as opposed to Zeus Dios. So it does require a little more thinking. I have to consciously match combos. Like, I know this game is puzzles and dragons, not buttons and waifus, or buttons and husbandos, I guess, in the case of Zeus Dios. But the idea is, like, there are many ways to clear Nordis Descendant as well as other rogues, and maybe I'll do something like this for the other rogue descents, because I only got Liu Bei recently, and might as well just showcase my setup, at least, to clear the dungeon. So hopefully this video is informative, maybe entertaining, you learned a thing or two. I hope you have a mantastic day, and happy puzzling!